that they didn't have authority to enter anything. The judge also knew that I wasn't getting information. She also knew that the subcommittee had no authority. She just wanted it settled, okay? And then what happened? She makes a decision, right? She basically says, I'm going to slam the town and hit you. There's her down. Well, so she can't stand.
Anybody who isn't clapping for him can't stand.
You're blocking people.
Can we just open to the public, Mayor?
She decides against the borough. Why? Because we didn't settle.
That's absolutely incorrect.
If you don't settle, you go to court.
That's absolutely incorrect.
You want a trial. How could you hold not settling against anyone? If you want a trial, you want a trial. But that was one of her holdings, is that I am going to be punitive because you didn't settle. It's bizarre. Just like she mischaracterized what I said. It's not fair.
I think we should open to the public, Mayor. It's getting late. There's a room full of people who want to speak.
So remember I said about the MOU. So this MOU was done secretly.
It wasn't done secretly. You were in the meetings. That's a lie. You were standing there lying.
So then when I said, hey, you know what, I'm looking at this MOU, there's no confidentiality language in here. It's usually, it's usually confidential.
When did you say that?
So then,
In one of those special meetings where we were talking about the MOU?
Councilwoman Savari actually wrote, I just saw one of the emails, quote, perhaps we ask that he, the mayor, be removed from all affordable housing negotiations and council meetings. Now, many of you voted
And that was
for
in
me.
the context of what?
So what Ms. Savari was doing, in essence, was writing, in her writing was that because she's part of a political machine, she can do whatever she wants.
I'm so far from part of a political machine.
She's excluding me. She's asking the lawyers how to figure
You know
out how to
what?
exclude me.
You're just taking it out of context.
It's bizarre.
We did already.
So
There's a second.
then, on top of this, once, right, I concur with those sentiments.
Once again,
This is garbage.
older attorney-client. This is why you don't get documents, Mr. Mayor. It's why the judge didn't give you the documents when you asked for them, because you constantly violate
This is not a political soapbox.
How do you know what it is? You haven't seen it. Have you already
Can
seen
you
it?
please open to the public?
Have you already seen it? Have you seen the email?
There's a second.
If it's attorney-client.
Judge, you want to solve this in public, but I want you all to know that I wanted to
Why you have so much affordable housing? Because you're following this guy over the Palisade Cliff.
All right, so just where I want you to leave us tonight. We had a consensus that we will appeal. Whether or not it's Crowder who appeals or not, I'm not sure right now. I would like, I wanted him to report to me, but I said he's not going to do it. And I'm actually of the view that we should just hire an attorney all around. Including Mr. Marinello, who seems to be here, not for the borough.
I'm here for the borough.
No, you're not.
You are not protecting the borough. You are divulging attorney-client privilege.
Okay, can we please?
Between a councilman and the attorney, and the councilwoman. That is the definition.
Mayor, you're an attorney. You should
I'm
know.
the only one between the two of us.
Yeah, well, you know,
protecting the borough.
it's not right, because it's about me, the vice.
It doesn't matter.
It's not about excluding you. You were never excluded.
This is why he was excluded. This is
You
why.
know, this is not an order, Mr. Marinello. We actually do follow rules.
I don't believe in
We
it.
do-
Please
we
be
don't do
respectful. Come on. Be
All
respectful.
right, I have a motion to
You know
open
anything
the
about
public.
it?
We already have a motion and a second.
Yeah, what? You accusing me of taking money? What's your name? What's your name? Tell me what your name
Officer,
is.
you're gonna have to make rules.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that.
Officer.
Okay, respect. You just accused me of taking money.
No, he's not being removed. He's inciting it? Okay, please open to the public.
Hey, everyone just be quiet.
Oh my God. Mayor, look what you have created. This is all on you. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Again, when you leave here, just know
Again, there's a motion and a
we do
second.
have plans to appeal. We have plans to satisfy our own obligations. There's several different ones. I can't get into them right now, but they're all viable.
You're not supposed to get into any of this.
Everyone, and to the extent we can't answer your questions, I was hoping the attorney would be here to do it also. All right, if you raise your hand, you might come up. Yeah.
Can we take a vote? All in favor?
All in favor of opening the
Let's
public?
follow the rules, Mayor.
I thought we voted. Okay, all in favor of opening to the public?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Anyone recusing? Okay, we're open.
Lauren Eastwood, 4 Willow Drive. First of all, Mr. Marinello, Judge Farrington has repeatedly explained to you what attorney-client privilege is. It is communications soliciting legal advice and communications providing legal advice. What the mayor has read is neither. And perhaps that's why you've lost 10 Oprah
You haven't even
lawsuits.
seen what the mayor has in his.
I heard what he read, I can't
And
hear.
what I heard, what he read is attorney-client privilege.
Well, I don't think Judge Farrington will.
Well, maybe
Just
one
let
day
her-
we'll
let
find
her
out.
finish.
Oh, we're going to be finding out. Because you'll turn it down and you'll get sued again and you'll lose for the 11th
Maybe
time.
so.
Um,
Oh, I'm not going to just let her speak.
You're an attorney.
She
You're not supposed to be
brought-
an active player.
Listen, she's attacking me personally, I'm going
It's
to
fine.
go back at
Deal
her.
with it later.
I'm not attacking you personally. I'm pointing out what Judge Farrington has told you repeatedly, which just doesn't seem to be sinking in. Second of all,
Is Judge Farrington right now on that issue when she's been wrong on every other issue that you think she's been wrong on?
you haven't appealed her.
That's a good point.
If you thought she was wrong, you should appeal her.
I can't appeal for the girl. I don't get to it for, it's not my
You
job.
can appeal Oprah decisions.
Can we just let her go on?
Next, I received this flyer in the mail, signed by Councilwoman Sabari, Councilwoman O, Councilman Song, and Councilman Aversa. In 2019, when the Memorandum of Understanding was negotiated, the Affordable Housing Committee did the negotiating. The Affordable Housing Committee was Ed Aversa, Debbie Sabari, and Ellen Park. The mayor was not a member of the Affordable Housing Committee and did not participate in the negotiations. In fact, Oprah email logs show that he and Councilman Wu were not included on many communications on affordable housing. But last week you sent out a flyer saying the mayor negotiated in bad faith when he didn't participate in the negotiations at all. I'm going to give you an opportunity to explain this statement because at this point, this is so flamingly untrue that I am seriously thinking of sending this flyer, which 2 of you who signed are lawyers, to the Bar's Character Committee, along with Ms. O, your 2 outstanding ethics violations.
To you, Miss Eastwood.
Well, you shouldn't be voting on your own client's tax
There's nothing in
appeals.
there that's incorrect.
Yes, there is. How
Those
did he nego-
statistics are 100%.
Miss Eastwood, I have a question for you. Are we better off of what we were trying to settle with MOU, or are we better off today
I don't know
with the judge's order? Answer that question.
I don't know what the MOU said because I put in an Oprah request for it and I was turned down. But somehow the record managed to get a copy. Ms. Duffy said it was a settlement document and she couldn't give it to me. But someone gave it to the record. And I'd like to know the literature which said he negotiated in bad faith. Exactly when did he negotiate? That would. I know that he says he wasn't involved in negotiating.
Well, that's what he's saying. He sat there.
I guess you're his
He sat
spokesperson.
there.
Well, I didn't say the numbers were incorrect. I said specifically the statement that the mayor didn't negotiate in good faith was incorrect because the mayor didn't participate in the negotiations. You locked him out of those.
We didn't.
That
lock
was
him
an
out of those.
outright lie.
He knew exactly what was going on.
Your statement also says that the mayor abandoned the agreement. How did the mayor abandon the agreement? The only people who can abandon the agreement is the council. Last year, there were 5 Democrats and 1 Republican. The only ones who could have abandoned the agreement were the Democrats. So this is flagrantly untrue as well.
No, that's not untrue. He was very clear on where he stood with the MOU.
Right, but he didn't have the power
Okay?
to...
He was very clear.
Yes, but he did not
As
have
was
the
the
power
public.
to abandon it. Only you did. It requires a vote of the council.
That's a
There
play
are
on
5
words.
of you.
That's a play on words, Mrs.
Let the
Eastman.
resident finish.
So at any rate, unless anybody can explain to me how these statements are true, I think that those of you who have integrity obligations, and I believe that also includes you, Councilman Aversa, well, you can explain how it's accurate to the appropriate professional disciplinary committees.
Anybody else wishing to be heard? Yes, sir.
Good evening, I'm David Sacker, 12 Egan Place. From the perspective of the 50 uninterrupted years that my family and I have lived in this town, it seems to me that we have missed 3 windows of opportunity to have avoided reaching the situation where we are now. The first window of opportunity occurred over the last 40 years under both Democratic and Republican administrations by failing proactively to deal with the gathering storm of having to deal with the affordable housing issue. Nobody addressed it. That was the first missed opportunity. I'll appreciate, well, go ahead.
You're mistaking on that is the Democrat in 97.
Can't hear you.
1997, when Joe Parisi Sr. had the opportunity to build only 4 units by the Lion Club,
Yes,
and that was never built.
Councilman Farrow is saying that this happened under a Democratic administration, but the fact remains that over 40 years, no administration proactively saw the gathering storm and did anything about it. The second missed opportunity, it seems to me, was when the planning board rejected the application from Normandy. Now, I have spoken to members of the planning board and to their supporters, and they've made the argument to me that the planning board did the right thing because the board knew, they claim, that Normandy was offering a bait and switch, that Normandy wanted to make this deal, and then they were going to switch and turn it into affordable housing. That argument, the logic of that argument escapes me, frankly, because Normandy could not possibly have done that without coming back to the planning board for a waiver for permission to change the deal.
That's correct.
So that doesn't strike me as a good argument, but that's water under the dam. The third missed opportunity came this past summer when there was an opportunity to reach a settlement. And that proposed settlement was discussed at a meeting I attended on July 10th. And all 3 representatives, professional experts, implored us to accept the settlement. The room was filled with people opposed to a settlement, and they demanded that the settlement be rejected and that we appeal. At that time, I spoke, and I said I felt that the risks of abandoning the settlement and going to an appeal were too high. that if we lost the appeal, which we almost were certain to do before Judge Farrington, that we'd be in a worse situation than we were. Now, because of the expression of opinion of the people in the room on that evening, the council ended up voting to appeal, to go to litigation. The mayor and council may legitimately say, well, it's their job to respond to the wishes of the community. And all they were doing was responding to the wishes of the community. That's what a democracy is supposed to be. That's their perspective. My perspective is that they were caving into mob rule. Now that's all water under the bridge. We had one strike over the 40 years, one strike against us because we didn't move in time. Strike 2 occurred when the planning board rejected what would have been a better deal than we have now. Strike 3 occurred in July when it was decided to reject the settlement endorsed by all the professionals, but instead rejected to go to litigation. That's 3 strikes. So where do we go now? What are we doing now? What we're doing is deciding to argue with the umpire. The umpire says it's 3 strikes and you're out. So now we think we're going to make things better by going out and arguing with the umpire, with another appeal. I would like an explanation from anyone on the council, including the mayor or Mr. Ferro, as to what you realistically feel we have to gain by putting more energy, more energy, more time, more money into an appeal that seems to have little chance of passing. Okay, so we'll appeal. We'll argue with the umpire. We'll spend a lot of time arguing with the umpire, and I suspect we'll all get thrown out of the game.
The one thing I would like to mention to you that strike 3 was the signing of the MOU. That was the strike 3.
No.
Strike 3 and the MOU would have been our salvation. Because compare the terms of the MOU to the terms handed down by Judge Farrington. And you tell me which you think is better.
So, I'll answer you. I've never met a group that negotiates with no plan B until I met the 2019 Democratic Council majority. They decided that they were just going to settle what they want, no matter what.
That's
and
incorrect.
They stopped working on the Hudson Terrace plan that they had just approved.
That's what he wants you to believe. That's not correct.
So the judge decides that she's very upset that they didn't settle. Visibly, she put it in her decision.
Yeah,
She
there are
said,
11
well,
other
no, the council
reasons.
did. The council made a decision not to settle, right? Eventually. And she said, well, where's your plan B? Where's your plan?
No, she didn't say that at all.
January.
That's not what she said at all.
Oh, you didn't have one. You said we don't have it. We didn't do anything.
That's so
I never met
so
a more
ridiculously
inept
wrong.
group than this when it comes to negotiating.
Mayor.
Can we please just
All
make
you
up to
had
the public?
all you had to do was, if you wanted to settle, fine, that's your prerogative as a council majority. All you had to do was keep Plan B going alive, in case Plan A didn't work out for us.
So, Mayor,
Hold on a second. Your Plan B was my Plan A, which was to develop the property on Hudson Terrace, satisfy our obligation. I believe in home rule. You know, you don't negotiate.
That's not how
with
it
socialists,
works, and you know that.
terrorists. These people, they just want more and more. Yes, we want to settle, but they're going to come back in 5 years and want more from you.
exactly why the
These people,
Let the public
people are
speak.
socialists. They want to take
No,
the value from your property.
That's
and
not
reallocate.
true.
Look at your house price.
Keep
Where are you
talking,
from?
keep talking that way and see what happens. That is so
What's wrong
untrue.
with being direct, Debbie, instead of being the way you
No,
are?
what you're not being direct about is that 300 out of 330 towns have settled, and there's a reason. Because they know, like it or not, we're stuck with the laws.
Can I speak? So last year when you ran for your reelection, you said you were going to stop 800 Sylvan Avenue.
We are.
I would like to know how you are planning on stopping 800 Sylvan
Well, here's I
Avenue
told you already.
at this
We're
juncture.
going to appeal because the law was bad, the facts that she recited were wrong. We have a plan to satisfy our own obligations, and I need you to get out of my way. You keep blocking me.
You are not in your way. So funny. Okay.
Because you're still a majority.
You know what? This is
At
really
one point, you asked us not to
amusing.
walk away, but yet now you want us to get out of your way.
This is really
You're going to
You're
destroy
blocking
this
me.
town.
Every time
You
you
are
get
going to
involved
destroy
in
this town.
then a person says no.
That
But then
is
he
not
says,
true.
go settle. Go figure out how to figure this problem out. Come on, guys.
That's not true.
Our residents are much smarter than you. They see right
Our residents are not in closed session, so they have no idea what the reality is, and you know that.
And you know that, I use it against that.
You're not going to get picked till the end.
I want to ask a question. So what is better, right? Sorry, Angela Chen, 22 Sarah Hill Lane. I want to ask a question. What is better, the Hudson Terrace plan or the 400-unit settlement plan? Which is better?
There is no
Which
Hudson Terrace
one
plan.
is developed the first? Which one was approved first?
You don't understand. You're gonna get both.
Ms. Chan, Ms.
Is-
Chan,
so-
if
so-
I could answer your question, this mayor right here has lied to you, has misled you to believe that Hudson Terrace would stop 800 Sylvan Avenue. We have to do both. One does not satisfy the 800 Sylvan
But
Avenue.
800 Sylvan
He
is
has
a
lied to you and
commercial
misled
property.
you.
So, okay, let me, so 800 Sylvan is a commercial property. It was not rezoned, right? It was only rezoned by the judge because we didn't satisfy the obligation to
That's
build
not true.
affordable housing. That's the logic. If we satisfy,
They just want the
if we
builders
satisfy,
remedy,
if
boss.
we break the ground, will that be, a different decision, right?
And what's the number?
I just wanna-
How many units do we have to build? How many units?
Depends on how much vacant land we have,
There's
right?
70
Because we don't have,
It
if we
doesn't
don't
depend
count
on-
800 Sylvan as vacant land, we won't have that many units.
Ms. Chan,
That's true,
800
right?
Sylvan Avenue just got their builder's remedy lawsuit, okay? So that means that they can build.
But there's reason not to let them, right? We have reason because that's a commercial. First of all, because we never build affordable housing, that's a punishment for us. If we follow, then that's another story. And also, when did we first came out with this plan? When did the planning board first started developing this? It must be long before they started the suit, right? So why we didn't present all these things to the court?
Well, the whole thing started when the planning board declined the application for Unilever. You
I thought
understand that,
I
right?
thought before that they were already doing some groundwork for
No, they had an application to have a corporate headquarters there, and the planning board declined the application.
Yeah, but before the planning board declined the application, they already started working on the affordable housing plan, right?
Who already started?
That's not true. You don't have all your facts together.
And also I feel that like the audience and the residents of the town has the right to hear about everything. I think it's very disrespectful that you don't let the specialists or whatever to speak to us, because we want to understand where our situation is. We shouldn't be blocked of information. That make me feel that what
Ms.
are you
Chan,
guys afraid of?
We're not
Are you
afraid
guys
of it.
afraid of
Ms.
giving
Chan,
us information?
Ms. Chan, Ms. Chan, let me explain something to you. We're in litigation right now.
Understand, they
Our
don't
oppo-
need to disclose secret
Okay.
stuff. to
Our
us, right?
opposing counsel is sitting and videotaping and recording. We're in litigation.
It's
There's
already been
certain
used
things that
against
we
us.
cannot say.
Hide behind that.
What we're doing today, there's a reporter right there behind you. She's going to report it
Understand,
in
but
the
is there any
paper.
confidential?
And all the eyes are on Englewood Cliffs right now.
But at least he can
And we need
brief
to
us
protect the
what's
town
the judge's
as much as we can.
ruling, right? Anybody tell us what judge's ruling? What did we do wrong? Also, like, if we appeal, can we change the attorneys? We spend $2 million on the attorney and we lose the trial badly. Can we change the attorneys? Can we get council people's support to change the attorneys?
I did ask, I'm waiting for a council, for a motion to actually replace the attorneys. Oh.
Thank you, please. Take a motion, please.
But the other thing that, it slipped my mind, that you should know that before the trial, I cleared up my schedule. I figured someone's going to want to get me out of this thing. I figure our own team would want, because we actually did a lot to try to comply with the affordable housing law. We had a plan, we bought a property, we even had a vote here at the planning board. I got deposed. A lot of people got deposed. A lot of it were before like a witch hunt, actually, that are relevant to the case. And then the day the trial came, the next day, no one called me. I never got called. In fact, our own team only called 2 witnesses, 2 experts, the planner and the financial planner. And, that's why when you read the judge's opinion, it's completely devoid of any relevant facts of what we actually did. We moved heaven and earth in a year to comply, to come into compliance, to have a plan. For whatever reason, our attorneys did not get that into the record. It's not reflected in the decision. Now, just remember who controlled our attorneys.
I have one last thing to say. Edgewater, they just settled a deal, right?
Yes,
What they get is $12 million worth of land with that settlement deal. What did we get for that settlement deal? I can only see my property tax goes on double, right? I see nothing good for us. If you guys really want to do a great job to negotiate, do better.
Mayor, may I have the floor? Can I just put it on the record that the professionals that we have right now, that the mayor is very unhappy with, those were the professionals that he had appointed. Okay, so I just want that on the record.
I did, and I'm disappointed because in 2018, when we were working together, they did their jobs fine. And then the first thing that you guys did to what otherwise are very good professionals, you told them, cut out William, cut out me, go settle.
That's
You pointed
just
out one
not
thing
true.
who had no-
That's just not
no
true.
affordable housing script.
That's
It's
not-
true.
that's
There
not true.
are emails showing me exactly what you did. You cut us out. And now you're lying to them
That-
again. And look,
that is
Mayor,
not true. You said-
Mayor, did you see any email that I was copied on? Because I was not part of the committee and I was not copied. You're lying again.
He's lying. You were never on that. Let's continue. It's getting late. Let's
Anybody
continue.
else wishing to be heard? Yes, sir.
Hi, Jim Coquino, 7th Street, Englewood Cliffs. We're discussing the Hudson Terrace piece. Why haven't we attempted to develop it as a start? Why hasn't plans been made? Why hasn't a shovel put in the ground to at least show good faith that we're making an attempt? Why haven't,
So just so you know, one of the variations of plans to buy that property, is now that we have a larger number, we have to try to figure out how we can do more on that property. We're working on it. Unfortunately, I can't get into the plan with you right now until we have a vote up here. But you're right, we should be doing things.
and have we determined how many more units we would need to at least keep
So,
the courts off our back?
Well, we're not going to go over back with that opinion, but here are the numbers, right? 156 was a number that the special master recommended.
Okay.